everybody, this is Amanda here at the Crafting Studio. I'm so happy to share with you some ideas that I've had using these cactus that are so trendy right now. I bought most of my cactus at Michael's, and there's usually about 25 to 30 pieces ranging from the large ones to the small. I also purchased this wreath. I knew I wanted a white wreath so that that cactus would pop off versus your normal kind of natural color. So if you can't find this white one, be sure and get the natural one and know that it's going to take about 2 cans of white to spray it. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to always start with my bigger ones, right? And I don't ever want to put them side to side. So my focus is going to be a big section here, a big section here, and then we'll kind of fill in. So all I'm going to do is hot glue those pieces and just kind of shove it in there wherever it'll fit, and don't worry about if it's leaning over, because once they're glued in, we can kind of maneuver. These all have wire inside, so we can kind of bend those the way we want. And I'm just going to find a spot, a hole that those will go in, and let that kind of, if you feel like one's not really staying, get in there with some glue and it will definitely stay. So these all have an outer edge to them. If you can pull those off where it exposes just this part, that would be much better to try to find a hole small enough to get those in. So you can see I didn't bunch all these together. These prickly pear, we're going to kind of do them dispersed around the wreath. So let's continue with our small one, our large ones, I'm sorry. I'm on my second stick of hot glue, which I knew this project would take a lot of hot glue, and that's fine. So here I put 2 separate cactus side by side, almost like they were growing in the desert. So I was really inspired when I was in Palm Springs in January, because everything was just, these cactus were growing wild everywhere and the colors were amazing. But they were all against a white backdrop, because everything in Palm Springs seemed to be white with all those bright colors as accents. And I will fill in now with all my mediums. Everybody, so now that we've added all our cacti, and I honestly would probably add more. I underestimated how many cactus I need, so let's go on and up it to 30 to 35. I would probably fill in here, but now we're going to take our ribbon, and this burlap comes in a lot of different colors, so that's why I love using burlap. It's easy to work with and the colors are just fun and bright. So it's a good summer ribbon. I get my burlap at Michael's. So basically we're not gonna make bows, we're just gonna make a couple of big loops like this, maybe 4 inches wide. And then our ribbon is naturally hanging down, so we just wanna make it come back up. And so here we just have a 2-loop bow. And we're gonna leave this, go ahead and cut it at an angle or a dovetail, because we want that to kind of trail onto the table. So here, so I held it in this hand. I'm gonna transfer it to this hand so that I can use a taped wire around that bow and really cinch it in place. And if there's anything you learn from me, it is you've got to learn to use these taped wires, because they are the key to any bow making. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and make several of these. I think I'll make 3 because I really wanted more cactus, so we're gonna fill in with more ribbon this time. So I'm gonna cinch and create a loop that's probably about 4 inches long. Now my ribbon's already hanging down, so the natural way it wants to go is back up. And there's 2 loops right there. I'm gonna switch to this hand because I am right-handed. Maybe that's why I do it. I know not everybody does that, and that's fine. And I'm gonna create 2 dovetails. Okay, while it's still in this hand, I'm gonna take my florist wire that I taped, and I'm going to lay it across there, flip it over. See how it's in between these 2 fingers like that, and I'm gonna twist. And the taped wire holds that ribbon in place. That's why you want to use a taped wire. So there's our bow 2, okay? And now our bow 3. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut these wires off because they have nowhere to go, and we're just gonna hot glue everything. This has been a hot glue kind of project today. And I'm gonna hold it like this so I don't get any of that hot glue running in between the burlap, and I'm going to just add a lot of hot glue, and I'm gonna find a little spot right there, open up those two bows, those two loops, let that kind of fall on the floor. We'll cut that in a minute, and open those up a little bit and just kind of be patient and let that hot glue dry. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut these. Another way to do a dovetail is to fold your ribbon in half and come at an angle. Okay, dovetail just like that, that easy. But if you're gonna dovetail, make sure you dovetail everything. If not, just put everything at a slant is fine. Okay, so we've added our cactus, we've added our ribbon. Now I'm gonna come in with these paper flowers, and I'm definitely gonna do a DIY on these paper flowers, so you'll need to subscribe to my channel. Today I'm gonna use these kind of hot pink colors, again, kind of Palm Springs colors, and we are going to hot glue those. It doesn't take as much for these little paper flowers. Kind of find a spot, and then open those guys up. Okay, there's one. And then we'll change colors, and we've made this orange one. I have fallen in love with crepe paper flowers, and I am teaching a few classes. Okay, so in this one, I put one right in the center of that bow, you see? Just to kind of cradle that bow, give it some color over there. Now we'll turn and add another one of these really bright flowers, and it needs to be a little shorter. So I've noticed on this project that whatever is going into the wreath has to be short because that wreath is tight. So be sure and just cut to prep, when you prep your work, when you prep your materials, be sure and cut that. Anything that's going in the wreath needs to be cut short, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. And then fluff that up a little bit, and let's just keep adding these flowers. Just keep going and fill this in until you're satisfied with the fullness. I again would have added more cactus, but that's what we're gonna do today. So here is our centerpiece. We are going to show you several different ways you can use this. Okay, so one way is with these fabulous containers from, this one is from Pottery Barn, and whenever I'm gonna put a candle in here, I'm always going to build it up, and I'm gonna use sand today because that's kind of what our theme is, the sand and the Palm Springs, and hold down that container that gives you the height you need for the candle. Okay, so this is my second bag of Pottery Barn sand, and just because I want to make sure I don't see any of that plastic container, and I just used any plastic container from, you know, discarded food. And we have our candle there. So you guys, here is our final product, and if you have any special requests for certain DIYs you want to see or any special crafts you want to do together, put them in the comments below. I'd love for you to subscribe and continue watching, and thank you for joining me.